Thank you. A new experimental project is underway in West Allis, and that is where Brett Vickery joins us live from State Fair Park, where they're cleaning up stormwater.
Yes, Amelia. Stormwater, there's cows, pigs, you name it here at the State Fair. So washing away can get a little smelly, a little dirty, and therefore this man right here, Rick, has figured out a solution so that way there's not as much bacteria going into our water. Good morning, Rick. Thanks for being with us. And I am not knowledgeable about this at all, but you are. So I need you to explain to us what you've created to make our water a little bit cleaner.
Well, thank you. I'd be happy to. So basically what happened is my company, who is part of the Global Water Center, we're a Brew Accelerator participant in 2016, we were given a grant to install our antimicrobial material into the catch basin here to mitigate the bacteria that would normally go flowing through this and into Honey Creek and on into Lake Michigan.
Right.
And so the concept is very simple. We make a filter that will allow maximum water flow through the system so that we don't back up water as it's coming through during a storm event. But it has our PurAsure technology, which are plastic pellets that are designed to be extruded or molded into different shapes and sizes to be able to help the bacteria, help the water flow properly
and track that bacteria.
It actually kills the bacteria or traps some of it as well.
Very cool.
It prevents it from getting into the honey.
Yeah, Amelia, if you could see down there, we try to shine a light. There is a filter down there, so Rick is the man of the hour, making sure that bacteria is not only getting trapped but getting killed. Really awesome, Rick. Thank you.
A new experimental project is underway in West Allis. Brett Vickery joins us live from State Fair Park. And Brett, as you teased going into break, you have a demonstration to show us?
Yes, little demonstration to just show you why water runoff matters, why everything we've talked about matters. This is Ben. He is with the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, one of many of Eric Mangus's favorite organizations. He's kind of a nature nerd a little bit. Ben, we need to know, we can't see everything that's going on underneath us, right? So you're about to show us just why we need to care about what's going on here and why this, pilot project is so important. So kind of articulate to me what we're going to be looking at.
Yeah, excellent. So this is important because DNR, along with the help of others, are charged with protecting and improving our water quality. But one of the largest challenges we face is runoff. Mm-hmm. You may ask, what is runoff? How is it formed? Well, it's the collection of rainwater or snow melt that runs over land surfaces eventually to our waterways. As I'll sort of demonstrate here with this picture of water. So it's particularly evident in urban settings where there is hard surfaces like parking lots, roadways, and rooftops. So when it rains or the snow melts, you get it running off pretty quickly.
Sure.
So where it becomes a challenge is if there are the buildup over time pollutants that form, as I'll indicate through this red paint, if I can get it to come out.
There you go.
There you are. Haven't played with these, I guess, enough recently. And so if it rains, any pollutants that are on the water, as you can see, sort of build up and run off. And so what happens here is then it hits the surfaces, goes into inlets, and then out into our waterways. So something that was, and why DNR was really excited about this project and partnering with Water Council and Rick and the State Fair is because we're looking at ways to remove harmful bacteria from our waterways. And so one way to do what we find is a product like Rick or other technologies, and you put them in somewhere before that water would run off into our waterways. So you could visualize it maybe placed somewhere in there.
Catch those more chunky things in our water.
Yep.
And this really goes towards the mission of what DNR and what you guys are all about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. And so as far as, we have a little bit of the ingredients over here of what's in the filters. And like when Rick presented this to you guys, like what did you think when he had this idea, when his company did?
Well, it's interesting because there aren't a lot of information or data about different products, and so we were pretty excited. The idea that there was something that could take the bacteria, harmful bacteria, and remove it.
Yeah.
So we met with them at UW Whitewater and looked at some data and information.
And you were like, we're about it.
Yeah,
we're about it. Awesome.
Yeah. So
well, excellent.
It was perfect. And so we said, pilot, we'll go with it.
Let's roll with it.
Let's learn
awesome.
from
Well,
it.
we're excited to kind of see what happens with this. I can see what you think about the water samples, and should be a really great project that hopefully we can go all across Wisconsin and the U.S., Amelia.
A new project to clean up stormwater is underway at State Fair Park, and that is where Brett Vickery joins us live. And Brett, you have more on how this process works.
Yep, Amelia, this is Christy. She is a spokesperson here at Wisconsin State Fair. And Christy, you're just telling me, in the 11 years that you've been here, you have never had to shut down the park like you did in the last week with that impending weather that we had. So this storm, like sewer, everything is very relevant right now with everything that you've been through in the last week. Just tell me a little bit about your partnership with the company that's created these pellets, and just how it really is helping the environment.
Well, as a state agency in Wisconsin, we work very closely with the Department of Natural Resources, and we do a lot of testing of our water samples, and we put a lot of work into making sure that people don't put things in the sewers that shouldn't be there, obviously, with all of the animals here. But this is just one other piece of the puzzle. We have filters and screens in all of our catch basins, but we're excited about this pilot program. So we have these in 2 of our sewers, and we're hoping to see that they really do help not only reduce the bacteria in the water.
Sure. And so the Honey Creek runs under the state park, right?
It does.
So tell me a little bit about some of the testing you might do compared to like upstream and downstream.
Yes, so that's the plan. There's 2 different locations. I think you already saw the pellets actually in the bag at the bottom. So we'll do water sample testing. I know that, DNR is planning on doing some as well, but we have a company that we use all the time to test our water. So we'll do upstream and downstream samples just to see how well the pellets are working. We're really hoping that, we can expand this program in the future.
Sure. And so, yeah, the expansion, that was kind of my next question of if this is successful, you kind of get the test results that you want. Do you think these would be in like every sewer in the state park, you think?
I think that's the plan. We would eventually, especially focusing on Egg Village, because there is, the animal waste that's in this area, so it's really important. But health and safety is always our top priority at the fair park, not only during the fair for our fairgoers, but really year round. So if this is one little thing that we can do to make, our waterways cleaner and healthier, we will absolutely look into expanding the program.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Amelia, you can see here they have, there's different ingredients. We'll try to get a better light into that sewer to show you the bag that has all these ingredients that's really, killing that bacteria. But really cool pilot program they have going on here.
Today, a project to clean up stormwater is underway at State Fair Park, and that is where Brett Vickery has been all morning long. And Brett, you're kind of showing us how this process works, how it's going to help the environment, and why it's important.
Yeah, Amelia, you don't really think about what's going on underneath our feet in the sewers. We just think, boom, it's gone, it's clean, but there's actually a lot more that goes into it. This is Karen. She's a member of the Water Council. She's very passionate about cleaning our water, which, you and I, we have so many different things going on in our day we don't even think about. So thank you for thinking about things that we don't. And as far as this project goes, it really helps with storm, wash away, and kind of filters it a little bit in order to make sure that, like I said, the water is clean. So Karen, as far as the mission of the Water Council and how this project really, pushes that forward, just tell me a little bit about how excited you are, I'm sure, about this pilot program.
Yeah, thanks for having us. The Water Council is an organization that works with large, small, and startup companies that are trying to bring technology to market, that solves these water issues. And so we're really excited to run a pilot program. I know we've talked about the pilot program in terms of State Fair Park, but we actually run an annual competition or application-based program where innovators like Rick can actually apply for funding and sites to field test their technology. And that's really important because if they can't get real-world data, to validate, then we don't know if the lab-tested results hold off in true life as well. So anyway, the Water Council was able to provide funding for Rick to actually install this. And then we helped make connections for him to State Fair Park, to the DNR, so that he could actually do his demonstration.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, if you're just joining us, Rick is the innovator that kind of developed some of this technology that has that filtration system in that sewer right now. And how did he get involved, or how can maybe people who have really great ideas for water get involved with what you guys have to offer with your application process?
You bet. So on an annual basis, we actually run that application.
Okay.
And, we couldn't do that without the funders that we have. So the Fund for Lake Michigan and the Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewerage District actually provide funding that provide that funding to us so that we can support that initiative. So, like I said, on an annual basis, we open up that application, and those funders actually review the applications to see which ones actually meet the objectives, right, of improving water quality and meeting those goals to, improve stormwater runoff and other applications. So that's how we can do what we do.
Sure. And when is the next application time period? When is that coming up?
Yeah, so in January, we'll actually open up the next round.
Cool.
So that projects for next year can be tested.
Awesome. And real quick, as far as just, what Rick thought of, we've been talking about why this matters, why do people really need to care about what this project represents?
Well, stormwater runoff is one of those things that is super important, right? It's very important to the district of, MMSD and others, because there's point source, right? Contamination that comes from a specific place, but then there's non-point source pollution that enters the waterway from
Gotcha.
various locations. And so addressing those so that, water quality
It
overall
impacts
is
us
improved.
everywhere.
Absolutely.
Gotcha. Well,
Yep.
thank you so much, Karen.
Yeah.
Amelia,
Thank you.
an educational morning this morning, right? We're learning a lot.
We are. Thank you so much, Brett, for highlighting all of this about this new project taking place. And of course, State Fair Park, a perfect spot to start doing this because
Organizers with the fair have really been making a big effort to bring some innovation into some of their projects this year. One of them making stormwater runoffs a little bit cleaner. Fox 6's Brett Vickery shares the details of the project.
We all know it isn't the Wisconsin State Fair without the animals.
Agriculture Village, that's where all the animals are. And obviously there's animal waste that's produced.
And at times, some of that waste ends up in the sewers. So the fair agreed to be a part of a pilot program, testing out a material company's new filtration system in the sewers on the fair grounds. It involves a large bag of pellets, all made up of different materials that aid with the killing of bacteria.
The idea is not to eliminate bacteria from flowing into the Honey Creek, but to reduce the amount so that it's much more like nature.
With Sunday being the last day of the fair, soon they'll be able to take water samples from Honey Creek to see if it was successful.
After the fair, we'll send them off to get tested, and that we really see a difference between the upstream and downstream water samples that'll show that the pellets are actually working.
Their goal is not only for the experiment to be a success, but to also encourage other fairs, farms, and organizations to be mindful of their water runoffs.
The idea is not to have to reconstruct an entire stormwater system, but to incorporate filtration systems that are flexible enough to be able to use in many different ways.
Reporting in West Allis, Brett Vickery, Fox 6 News.